We have seen how Java provides a versatile and efficient way to store and manage collections of data using the array. In this lecture, we will explore the different ways to create one-dimensional arrays in Java, along with examples using integers and string arrays. We will also learn how to access elements in these arrays using their indices. The general syntax for declaring an array is to specify the data type, then a square bracket, and then the name of the array. For example, we can say int square bracket int array. Here we declare an array of type integer and the name of the array is int array. Same way we can declare a string array like this, string and square bracket, then string array. Here we got an array named string array which is of the data type string. Generally we keep the square bracket after the data type to represent the arrays, but we can also have the square bracket after the variable name. Both are syntactically acceptable, but generally we place it after the data type. This gives an idea that when we see the declaration, we clearly understand that it is an array of this specific data type. So here we can clearly say this is an integer array and this is a string array. And if we place the square bracket after the variable, then when we see the declaration, it just says int array of square bracket. When we see the int declaration, we are not sure whether it is an integer variable or an integer array. So it's always better to place the square bracket after the data type to ensure that the user will clearly understand that this is an array of this particular data type. Now that we have declared the array, the next thing is to initialize these arrays. So here we say int array equals new int of 5. Same way we will initialize the string array by saying string array equals new string of 3. Here the 5 and 3 represents the size of the array. This means the maximum number of elements the array can hold. And remember, once we initialize an array with a specific size, this cannot be modified. So here we say we initialize the int array with a size 5 and the string array with a size 3. And once we initialize an array, Java will automatically assign the default values to the elements in the array. So for example, in the case of int array, we have initialized it with a size 5. This means this array can hold 5 elements and each element will be initialized with a value 0, which is the default value for an integer variable. Same way, the string array is initialized with a size 3. This means the string array can hold 3 elements and each element will be initialized with a null, which is the default for a string variable. Now that we got the arrays declared and initialized, we will see how we can assign values to these arrays. We can assign values to each element of the array by using the array index. And this is what we do. Int array of 0 equals 10. Int array of 1 equals 20. Int array of 2 equals 30. Int array of 3 equals 40. And int array of 4 equals 50. Here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 represents the indices of the array. The index of an array always starts with 0. So the first index of an array is always 0. And the last index of the array will be 1 less than the size of the array. Or we say 1 less than the length of the array. The index 0 refers to the first element, 1 refers to the second element, 2 refers to the third element, and so on. And as we could see here, the int array is of the size 5. This means the length of the array is 5. And so the maximum index is 4, 1 less than the length of the array. Same way, for the string array, we can have a maximum of 3 elements and the index of that will be 0, 1 and 2. Let's print the value of this int array. We say system.out.println of int array of 0. Same way, we could say system.out.println of int array of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And here we use the index to access the value of the element of the array. Int array of 0 returns the value of the first element of the array. Int array of 1 returns the second element of the array, and so on. When we have this array with the index on the left hand side, we use it for assigning the value to the element of the array. And when we have it on the right hand side, we use it for accessing the value of the element of the array. So let's run this program. We say run as Java application. And here we go. We got the values 10 to 50 printed. The value of each element of this int array. We have seen assigning values to an array using the index. Now we will see another way of assigning values to an array. So in this case, we will assign values to the string array. Here we say string array equals new string of, and within flower braces, we put the values Smith, Jones, and Rahul. And in this case, we assign all the elements in one go. And as we see here, we got Smith, Jones, and Rahul assigned as the first, second, and third element of the string array. And let's print these values. We say system.out.println string array of 0, string array of 1, and string array of 2. Let's run this program now. And we could see the elements of the string array printed. In the case of the string array, we initialized the string array using the new keyword and then assigned the values Smith, Jones, and Rahul at the same time. There is another way of declaring, initializing, and assigning values to an array. Here we got a string array names with 3 elements Smith, Jones, and Rahul. Here we got the string array names declared, and on the right hand side we directly assign the values using the flower brace. In this case, Java will initialize the array and also assign the values to the array, and the length of the array will be 3, which is based on the number of elements we pass in the flower brace. Let's also print the values of this array and run the program. And as we could see, and the values of the elements of the names array are also printed here. And in this case, the Smith will be at index 0, Jones will be at index 1, and Rahul will be at index 2. Suppose you want to change the value of the name of the second element of this array, then we can say names of 1 equals Andy. So here names of 1 refers to the second element of the array, and we assign a new value to this. So Java will replace the existing value of this array with the new value. If we run this program once again and print the values, this time we will see the values as Smith, Andy, and Rahul. The value Jones, which is at index 1, will be now replaced with a new value. Generally, we tend to make a very common mistake when we access the elements of the array using the index. Here we got the names array with 3 elements. So the index of this array will be 0, 1, and 2. So when we try to get the values of these elements using these indices 0, 1, and 2, we will not have any issues. We will get the values Smith, Andy, and Rahul. But suppose we try to print the values of names of 3. So here we use the index 3, which refers to the 4th element of the array. But we have only 3 elements in this array, so we don't have a 4th element. This will give rise to an exception named array index out of bounds exception. Let's run this program now. And as we could see, we get the error message here, array index out of bounds exception. This clearly tells that we are trying to access an index which is out of bounds of the array. Generally, when we don't know the number of elements in the array, we used to find the length of the array, and the maximum index of the array should be 1 less than the length of the array. So if we access using this technique, we will not get into this problem of getting array index out of bounds exception. So in this lecture, we have seen how to declare, initialize, and assign values to a one-dimensional array. Arrays in Java are fixed in size and cannot grow or shrink. Once we initialize an array with a specific size, the size of the array cannot be changed. The array indices starts with 0 and go up to 1 less than the length. Accessing an index out of the bounds, say for example using a negative value as an index or an index value which is equal or greater than the length of the array, will throw an array index out of bounds exception. Arrays can store values of both primitive types as well as objects.